Have you ever watched a UFC fight and thought to yourself, wow, how do their bodies handle that? It's easy to get caught up in the adrenaline of the fight, the punches, the slams, and the excitement. But deep down, there's a question that lingers. Just how dangerous is this sport for the athletes? Are those jaw-dropping knockouts and brutal submissions something their bodies can truly recover from, or do they leave long-lasting damage? Let's dive into the world of UFC and explore the risks that come with it. UFC and mixed martial arts, MMA in general, is a brutal sport. It's designed to test every limit of an athlete's body, mind, and spirit. Fighters train relentlessly, pushing their muscles, bones, and endurance to the max. But with every punch, kick, and takedown, there's a potential cost to their bodies that isn't always visible at first glance. While many fighters walk away from the octagon with a sense of victory, some of them also leave with injuries that can stick with them for life. One of the most significant risks fighters face is brain injuries. We've all seen the devastating knockouts that can leave a fighter on the canvas, but the long-term effects of repeated blows to the head are even more alarming. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a degenerative brain condition, is a major concern for UFC fighters. It's caused by repeated head trauma and can lead to memory loss, mood swings, depression, and even early-onset dementia. Fighters often experience this type of brain damage after years of taking hits to the head, and the effects are sometimes irreversible. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone who's been following us on this journey. I really appreciate all of you who are taking the time to learn and discuss important topics like this with us. Your support means a lot, and we're in this together, exploring the realities of sports and their impact on athletes. Another area where UFC fighters face permanent damage is in their joints and bones. The sport requires a combination of strength, flexibility, and agility, all of which put significant strain on the body. Fighters are often subjected to joint locks, arm bars, and ankle holds, which can cause long-term damage to their ligaments, tendons, and bones. Over time, repetitive stress and injury can result in conditions like arthritis or even bone fractures that never fully heal. It's not uncommon for fighters to deal with ongoing joint pain, mobility issues, and chronic injuries as they age. Even though UFC fighters are some of the most physically conditioned athletes in the world, the risk of spinal injuries is another major concern. The force of being thrown to the ground or slammed into the mat can cause herniated discs, fractures, or nerve damage. These injuries can have long-lasting effects, sometimes leaving fighters with chronic pain or even permanent paralysis in severe cases. Spinal injuries are not only painful but also extremely difficult to recover from, making them some of the most dangerous types of injuries in MMA. Let's not forget about the mental toll UFC can take. Mental health struggles are an often overlooked part of the equation when it comes to combat sports. Fighters endure physical pain, but they also carry the emotional and psychological weight of their careers. The constant pressure to perform, the fear of injury, and the mental exhaustion that comes from training and fighting can lead to issues like anxiety, depression, and stress. Many fighters face these struggles behind closed doors, often feeling isolated in their battle for mental well-being. But here's the thing. Despite all these risks, UFC fighters continue to push forward because of their love for the sport. They know the dangers, but they also know the glory that comes with stepping into the octagon. They are incredibly resilient, and many have found ways to manage and cope with their injuries. Modern medicine and recovery techniques, such as physical therapy, cryotherapy, and regenerative treatments, have allowed fighters to prolong their careers and manage their health better than ever before. Still, it's clear that UFC isn't just a sport for the faint of heart. It demands physical toughness, mental strength, and a willingness to sacrifice one's body for the thrill of competition. The question isn't whether UFC is dangerous. It clearly is. But for those who are passionate about it, the risk is part of the reward. As we reflect on the physical costs of the sport, we must also acknowledge the incredible courage and dedication of the athletes who choose to fight. They are warriors in every sense of the word, and their commitment to their craft is something truly awe-inspiring. So the next time you watch a UFC fight, Remember the risks these fighters are taking and appreciate the sacrifices they make for the love of the sport. Thanks again for joining me on this deep dive into the dangers of UFC. Let's keep discussing, learning, and supporting the athletes who give it all, knowing the risks involved.